Let's move on. Since Varric was doing here. Yes, yes he is.
So, now that Cassandra's out of earshot, are you holding up all right? I mean, you go from being the most wanted criminal in Thedas to joining the armies of the faithful. Most people would have spread that out over more than one day.
None of this shit should have happened.
You don't know the half of it. For days now, we've been staring at the breach, watching demons and maker knows what fall out of it. Bad for morale would be an understatement. I still can't believe anyone was in there and lived.
If it was that bad, why did you stay? Cassandra said you were free to go.
I like to think I'm as selfish and irresponsible as the next guy, but this... Thousands of people died on that mountain. I was almost one of them. And now there's a hole in the sky. Even I can't walk away and just leave that to sort itself out.
The breach needs to be sealed. The sooner the better.
If it can be sealed, you might want to consider running at the first opportunity. I've written enough tragedies to recognize where this is going. Heroes are everywhere. I've seen that. But the hole in the sky... that's beyond heroes. We're going to need a miracle.
I'm always as nearing, it seems.
Need something?
The red lyrium we found at the temple seemed to upset you.
My brother Bertrand and I sort of discovered red lyrium during an expedition in the deep roads. We located an ancient thaig, so old it barely looked dwarven. There was this idol there made of it. Bertrand brought it back to the surface, and, well, everything's gone downhill from there.
So what is it? Just another kind of lyrium?
The red stuff is lyrium like a dragon is a lizard. It's not just a different color. It has a whole host of weirdness all its own. I've written to every mining cast house in Orzammar. No one's seen this stuff before or knows where it came from.
What makes it special?
Regular lyrium can mess you up pretty badly, but you have to ingest it for that to happen. Red lyrium messes with your mind when you're just near the stuff. You hear singing, get violent, paranoid, and then it does creepy shit. Makes things float, brings statues to life. I've had a few alchemists studying it in Kirkwall, in shifts.
Why do you have red lyrium?
My brother kept a sliver when he sold it. I'm pretty sure he held on to it because it was already talking to him. That little shard drove him mad. I had him taken to a sanitarium and eventually found the fragment in his house. We brought the shit to the surface, Bertrand and I. I wanted to find out if there was a way to shut it up. So far, it looks like the answer is no.
If red lyrium is as dangerous as you say, why'd you keep it?
I've heard that shit singing to me. I know better than anyone how bad it is. In Orzammar, miners keep regular, non-crazy raw lyrium in special lead-lined containers. Actually, it's a huge secret how they're constructed. Keeps surface folk from horning in on the lyrium trade. I pulled a lot of strings and got a smith to build me 4 of them nested inside each other. Nobody gets to study it up close for more than an hour, and they have to wait a week between shifts.
I think that's enough on red lyrium.
Yeah, not really my favorite subject. Need something?
I want to know more about red lyrium.
I'll tell you what I can.
How did the red lyrium get in the Temple of Sacred Ashes?
I don't know. As far as I knew, there was only one small piece of the original idol we brought out of the Deep Roads. And it's locked in a vault in Kirkwall. One I had built by the mining caste especially to hold it.
I think that's enough on red lyrium.
Yeah, not really my favorite subject. Need something?
Hey Rusty, I had several problems. It's not loading in the correct name of the bot. It says DAO 15 when it should be 16 and only lasts 50 minutes instead of 7 hours. And it breaks down at the 2-minute mark for me.
Can I ask you something, Varric?
You want to talk about me? I'm flattered. Also inclined toward extravagant lies.
How do you and Cassandra know each other?
You heard about the Kirkwall Chantry being destroyed? The guy responsible used to be a friend of mine. The Seeker had questions about that, and I had answers.
Are you from Ferelden? Olay?
Free marches, born and raised in Kirkwall. And despite whatever you've heard, no, Kirkwall's not that bad.
I'm not clear on your line of work. You're a merchant?
I'm a businessman. My family has a seat in the Dwarven Merchants Guild. Merchants buy and sell goods. Businessmen buy and sell stores. In my spare time, I manage a spy network, and occasionally, I write books.
If you've run a spy network, why is Leliana our spy master?
To be honest with you, she's just a better spy master. The truly great ones can keep their distance. They don't get attached to their people. Me, I always wind up babysitting my informants and worrying about their families. We're in better hands with her.
Why is my woman speaking like this? She sounds like she has a mental retardation. What the hell is going on with her?
What sort of shops do you own?
Actually, we don't own shops. That was just an example. Mostly we invest in
Herald, I
moneylenders.
mean, not warden.
Auction houses, a few mercenary companies, a couple of smithies. I think we own half a beet plantation in Ravane somewhere. Most of that's my brother's doing. Bartrand had business sense. Not much tact, but loads of business sense.
You're an author. What kind of books have you written?
I've tried my hands at a few genres. My crime serials are my most popular. Hard in Hightown, guards breaking the rules to get things done. The Tale of the Champion is the most famous thing I've written, or infamous maybe. I started a romance serial once, Swords and Shields, but to be honest, I don't have a knack for romances. Most of my stories end in tragedy. Probably that says something unfortunate about me personally.
Where did you get that crossbow? I've never seen one like it.
Bianca? She's one of a kind. I got her off a guy in Darktown. Took me a week to pry his dead fingers off the stock.
Who is she named for?
I can't tell you.
And the reason for that is?
Complicated. It's the one story I'll never tell. We just have to leave it at that.
Thanks, Varric.
Okay, we still have one line of,
Need something?
yeah, questioning.
I read your Tale of the Champion, and I have a few questions.
That's a pretty common reaction. Go ahead.
Where are the rest of Hawke's associates now?
Meryl decided to look after the elves left homeless by the fighting. She's done a pretty good job of keeping them away from the mages and Templars, so far. I guess she has plenty of practice avoiding stupid human battles with her old Dalish clan. Sebastian went back to Starkhaven. I'm sure he's boring all sorts of people there. Hawke's brother Carver is still in the Free Marches, helping the Kirkwall Guard keep order. Aveline is still Guard Captain. I'm pretty sure Kirkwall would fall into the sea if she quit her job.
So Ward is not having any problems with the bots.
Need something?
Interesting. Maybe they fixed it.
I read your Tale of the Champion.
That's a pretty common reaction. Go ahead.
What happened to the mage who destroyed the Kirkwall Chantry? The book never said.
Hawke made him stay to help put out the fire he caused. But eventually he moved on. Nobody else wanted him in Kirkwall. I don't know where he is now, and I don't want to know.
Your book doesn't say what happened after the Arishok left Kirkwall.
He kind of lost the tome of Coslin again, along with the thief. As I understand it, he returned to Parvalan to find the Kunari equivalent of a court-martial waiting for him. There's a new guy named Arishok now, and asking about the old one is a nightmare of logic and grammar.
In the book, you say that first Enchanter Orsino turned himself into a giant monster made of corpses. How? Why?
Do I look like an expert on magical weirdness to you? Well, I can't tell you how. And why, all I can say is he was desperate.
Okay.
Carry on.
Next up is this tavern and Solas. We should learn up. Yes.
And you've seen no signs of Grey Wardens?
Nope.
You're certain?
Letter? I just don't. Grey Wardens, you said?
We're not paying you to be sarcastic.
And how much did you need?
Oh, Maker, you're here. You're the Herald of Andraste. And you were sent to shame us for mistreating the elves. I pay my elves good and proper, you should know. Friend of the Alien Legion all, and... I mean, I'm Flissa. Can I get you a drink?
I'm here with the Maker's blessing, and I'll do whatever I can to help.
Anyways, you let me know what you need, and I... Oh, what could you need from me? Oh, I'm rambling. As I said, I'm Flissa. The Inquisition soldiers needed a place to unwind, so Leliana brought me in to set up a tavern. Nothing fancy, but it's safer for the soldiers than looking for trouble in some village.
You said Leliana asked you to run an Inquisition tavern. How did you meet?
Dumb luck, mainly. I managed an inn back in Denerim. When I heard interesting gossip, I passed word to Leliana. Sometimes it was helpful. She asked if I wanted to own my own tavern, and I said yes. I didn't realize she meant this.
What can you tell me about this area?
Adan is Haven's apothecary. He's been making potions and tending to the wounded as best he can. Harris is the Inquisition smith. Whatever he can make you, Thren the quartermaster can probably find. And for anything fancier, you can try buying from Segrit. His prices aren't too high. Yet. Oh, there's also my knave. She studies beasts and things, as I understand.
Alright.
Farewell.
Goodbye.
Time to learn up. Or maybe not. They shouldn't have learned up. I mean, my compadres. some reason the game toy is eating all my RAM. I don't know why.
Look who's back from the dead. Again.
I don't recall meeting you before.
I'd be surprised if you did. You weren't particularly coherent. Someone had to patch you up after you staggered out of making us wear, though. So, you're welcome.
I didn't realize. Thank you.
Yeah, well, you can pay me back by fixing the world. Name's Adan. I'm in charge of keeping our little band here stocked with potions and elixirs. Not that Seeker Pentagast seems to care whether we've got the supplies to actually do that.
Is there anything I can do to help out?
We're fine as far as raw labor goes. You've more important things to do than tend to me. I only wish I'd been able to find Master Tajin's notes. Old bastard was working on something special. He died at the Conclave, and his notes weren't here. Been too busy dealing with the wounded to look for them.
You said you thought Master Tajin was working on something special. If it helps, I found his notes.
The old codger was on the edge of a breakthrough here, but he couldn't see it. You want some of these mixed up, you just give the word.
As I said, anyone somewhat related to Inquisition, either serving us or planning to join, I'll be more lenient with them. And lie to their faces, so they support me. I will carefully, choose who I want to antagonize and who I want to bring into my fold.
For a healer, you don't seem particularly nurturing.
I'm not a healer. I'm an alchemist who's forced to play Mother Hen. You want something to burst into flame on contact with the air? Done. Gladly. Patching up wounded soldiers is a waste of my time and talents. But there are a few around who can help.
How are your people holding up?
There's no shortage of work. That's for damn sure.
How do I go about having potions made?
Just take a look there and tell me what you'd like. Find a recipe for something better, I can make that too.
Okay.
Perhaps another time.
I wonder if they have leveled up by now. Yes, okay. Then let's get Lilith and this guy revival. What about Varric? Cassandra, I believe, will benefit from this. think. Or should I get this? Everything is good. I could charge and taunt without any, or do this. Let's go with this one. Seems like a good idea. I don't understand it fully. Guard generation bonus 100. That means I get 20 for every, maybe, instead of 10 I get 20 for every single one of them. Could make sense. We shall see. Although I did have the problem of not having enough stamina for a while, so this dish could be useful. Honestly, this could be very useful. Okay, let's go with that. Now for Varric. This is the problematic guy. Let me see if there is anything good here. While you're in a stealth and shortly after leaving, your attacks ignore some of your target's armor. You take your enemy by surprise. If you're in a stealth, this attack is even harder. I don't like knockout powder, honestly. Maybe I should get him passive bonuses to his. It's all bullshit. Everything he has is bullshit. Hello EMP, how are you? Let's give him that. Because he will use a stealth a lot, so why not give him that? Benefits from a stealth. I gave Solas his point. What? There it is, revival. Okay. Okay, we're done here, I think. Time to talk to Solas if he appears. Out of whatever hole he crawled into. Solas, you fucking bastard, appear! Damn it all. He's gone to pee. Okay, then let's go and talk to Leliana first.
You dislike the devil? Yes, I assumed you were used to having Templars around, keeping us safe from the mages.
The mages in the circle follow the chant of light as faithfully as the Templars, sister. More faithfully than some Templars, even. Some of the things those Templars did when they thought I did not see.
Wank off. Why are we terrorizing my viewers? That's where we are terrorizing. By repeating everything all
If
over
you're here
again.
to clean, Hess can get you a bucket and a broom. Anyone calls you knife here, come to me. Oh, you're her. Thren. Inquisition Quartermaster. I'm doing what I can to supply this mess. If you find what I need to fill one of my requisitions, I'd appreciate you bringing it in.
What do you do here?
I make sure the Inquisition troops have food in their bellies and iron in their hands. Both are important. Lots of people expecting us to be heroes, marching all day to fight the demons. Turns out heroes need to dig latrines just like everyone else.
How does someone end up as quartermaster for the Inquisition?
I served for Eldon under 10 Loghain MacTier. Best commanding officer this world has ever seen. After they all turned on him at Denerim, though, there wasn't much use for people who held that opinion. Queen Honora offered my services to the Inquisition. It was a kindness. She knew I supported her father and got me away from the political garbage.
I understand Loghain joined the Grey Wardens after the Blight ended.
Yes. A mercy, people called it. Serving the Order, they say he betrayed. He could have led Ferelden to greatness. Instead, he lives in exile, fighting Darkspawn until the day he dies.
Maybe
Can I help you with something?
the Wardens are looking for Loghain in the Storm Coast. Actually.
What did you mean when you mentioned requisitions?
I'm making this Inquisition run with what we have, but we're not a real army. We're stretched thin on materials, so I've put up a requisition list for anything that could help our people. Here, take a look. You find some iron and a good logging site, maybe Varric can get our troops better weapons.
If I have material for a special order, do I bring it to you?
Just take it over there. One of my boys will take the materials or jot down what you found.
Replaying the AO or your first time EMP?
Farewell.
Make her go with you.
I think we're going to finish talking to all these people today. Yes. Additional weapons to be effective. Yes, be effective.
Much appreciated.
Okay, let's talk to Leliana.
Blessed
Her-
are the peacekeepers, the champions of the just. Blessed are the righteous, the lights in the shadow. In their blood, the Maker's will is written. Is that what you want from us? Blood. To die so that your will is done? Is death your only blessing?
You speak for Andraste, no? What does the Maker's prophet have to say about all of this? What's his game?
How is this a game?
Do you see the sky? What about the temple ruins? The bones lying in the dust? Even if you didn't support the Divine's peace, you wouldn't call this right. Who could? So many innocent lives. The faithful murdered where the holiest of holies once stood. If the Maker willed this, what is it if not a game or a cruel joke?
Don't ask me. I'm as baffled as you are.
You probably don't even worship the Maker. Lucky. He asks a lot. The chantry teaches that the Maker abandoned us. He demands repentance for our sins. He demands it all. Our lives, our deaths. Justinia gave him everything she had, and he let her die.
I played a mage on Nightmare, didn't have much trouble. Really, only died like 20 times.
Maybe you should be angry at the people who murdered her.
If the Maker doesn't intervene to save the best of his servants, what good is he? I used to believe I was chosen, just as some say you are. I thought I was fulfilling his purpose for me, working with the Divine, helping people. But now she's dead. It was all for nothing. Serving the Maker meant nothing.
Maybe you have another purpose. I could help you find it.
No, this is my burden. I regret that I even let you see me like this. It was a moment of weakness. It won't happen again. Come. To work, then. We will speak later. So it's true. Butler has stand on us. I hope my hunch was wrong.
You knew him well?
Not as well as I thought. Show me the reports. There were so many questions surrounding Farria's death. Did he think we wouldn't notice? He's killed Farria, one of my best agents, and knows where the others are. You know what must be done. Make it clean. Painless if you can. We were friends once.
Glad to see traitors are dealt with quickly.
We must do whatever it takes to protect our interests. I am pleased that you agree.
It's good to know that protecting the Inquisition is a priority for you.
Of course. I do not neglect my responsibilities. We will make the Inquisition a force to fear. Now, if you're happy, I have more work to do.
Okay, more talking to Leliana.
Reports of fade rifts and demons keep coming. The people are terrified, and it's only getting worse. The only thing that will calm their fears now is the hope that someone out there can save them. You have to be that someone. No one else has any power over the rifts. Seal them. Your legend will spread, and Thedas will learn to trust the Inquisition.
Why do you want me to seek out the rebel mages? Why do you care?
I've known mages. Some of them were better people than me. And yet I'm free and they're not. It's not right.
Let's talk about you.
Me?
What did you do before you worked for the Divine?
I was a bard, an Orlesian spy for many years. For a time I also served a small cloister in Lothering. After the Blight, the Divine called on me to oversee her personal network.
I'll talk about the RP in a second, DMP. Give me a moment, I finished talking to her.
Can you teach me to be a bard?
Being a bard is so much more than being a spy. It involves a keen understanding of politics, the ebb and flow of influence, the great game. The bard's is an intricate dance where a smile can be sharper than any dagger. The best way to learn is to immerse yourself in it. Perhaps when this is all over, I'll teach you.
Bards tell tales. I bet you tell some good ones.
There are plenty of tales in the library. Perhaps you should look for them there.
I should leave you to your work.
We can always talk later.
So why am I not treating these people like shit? There's a quite simple reason. They are my subordinates, they work for me. And why do they work for me? Because they believe I am good and that I want to save the world. If they didn't, they would have executed me like was their original plan when Cassandra and Leliana were around. Or at least Cassandra's plan was to kill me or to hold me responsible. But they changed their tune and put me in charge of the Inquisition. Therefore, I cannot reveal my true nature to them. If I did, then more likely than not they would turn on me, and that is not what we want. We want the Inquisition to be powerful, influential, the most feared institution in Thaddeus, so we can eventually rival the Chantry as a cult of personality centered around the Herald and the kingdoms of the humans as a military juggernaut. That's why I treat these guys more carefully and with more tact than otherwise I would. Just wait until I get in the face of some chantry asshole. But I cannot treat them badly. They are my pawns. And if I don't have any pawns, I will lose the game. The only time I will turn on them is if they, for some reason, put themselves between myself and undermining the chantry or the secular powers of Thaddeus. In those instances, I will have to put my feet down or my staff to their eyeballs and burn it away. But until that happens, I need to be like a McDonald's manager, all smiles until you fire them. Let's continue.
Yes? They called you the left hand of the Divine.
That they did. What of it?
I'd like to hear about Justinia. What was she like?
A friend. A mentor. Like me, she had secrets, made mistakes. It made her human. I think her followers responded to that.
How did you and Justinia meet?
I met her a long time ago, before she became divine. Before she was Justinia. When I met her, she was Mother Dorothea. I was at my lowest. Broken, lost. And she saved me. No, wait. She hates it when I say that. I saved myself. She just showed me it was possible.
The character definitely hates the Chantry, EMP. Lilith wants to create a rival religion centered around herself. That's what we're aiming for. A cult of personality that replaces the Andrastrian chant in the hearts and minds of the regular humans. And eventually we can just turn it into the worship of the old gods. Not the old gods, the Dalish gods. Slowly but surely.
Was there something more than friendship between you?
You're asking if we were lovers? Typical.
I was devoted to her, therefore it must be romantic. Love is common. Love is simple. My bond with Justinia was something greater. She was a sister, a mother, a teacher. So to answer your question, yes, it was more than friendship.
Okay.
We'll talk more later.
What is she doing? Sit-ups.
I'm listening.
They called you the left hand of the Divine.
That they did. What of it?
What exactly does the left hand of the Divine do?
A divine always has enemies, and Justinia had more than most. I protected her. I watched, had an ear to every door. I identified threats, and I dealt with them.
Yeah, you always with your dirty thoughts, Impy. They were just friends.
Why did Justinia have so many enemies?
There were many who felt she was unfit to be divine. She had a past, a worldly life. Unlike many, she wasn't given to the Chantry as a child. She chose it, and somehow that made her unworthy. And because they thought she was unworthy, they wished her harm.
You still haven't told me what you did, exactly.
I handled difficult situations that couldn't be resolved through more delicate means.
What is the point of an Inquisition?
Justinia would have started the Inquisition if the Divine Conclave failed to restore peace. She hoped that with enough support, we could challenge the very tenets of the Chantry. She wanted the Chantry to treat the mages fairly. But sometimes I wonder, why stop at mages? The Chantry has committed many injustices. If we're going to change it, why not change the whole thing? It's just a thought. None of this will be possible if we fail.
I think what is happening in this world is a rift. It's like, a Protestant Reformation. You have the people that believe in the Chantry, that is the church, and there are people that believe in the chant, that is the scripture that gave rise to a church in the first place, but that many believe no longer directs the actions of the church. Yeah, I think that is what's happening here. We need the reformers to shut up and die. The Chantry must not change, it must not become more compassionate now.
I'm sorry she didn't live to see the Inquisition.
So am I.
I could use the left hand of the Divine at my side out there.
Every agent out in the world is my eyes, my ears, my blade. Wherever my people are, I am also. Coming with you, leaving my post, would blind and bound me. Do you see?
Nos will have a field day with this game, I've said that before.
We'll talk more later.
He's going to love it. Because his RP can also be very well...
Did you need something?
Can work very well in the circumstances we are in.
You seem to know a great many people.
I have made friends, and on occasion enemies. It's unavoidable.
Okay.
You seem to know Josephine quite well.
I met her a long time ago, but we didn't become good friends until years later. After the Blight, in fact. I'd just returned to Varric, and she welcomed me back by throwing a diplomatic ball. She was the Antivan ambassador at the time, you see. The ball was... alright. Too many politicians. At midnight, Josie and I left to find a real party. We've been friends ever since.
What do you consider a real party?
It's not a real party until someone's small clothes are pinned to a chantry board. And that's all I'm saying about it.
You have a history with the warden who entered the Blight, don't you?
I count him among my closest friends. I still write to him for advice when I can. He hasn't replied to my letters in some time. I try not to worry about it. He can take care of himself.
They say you spent some time in Lothering. Did you know the champion?
We spoke a few times. I seldom left the Chantry, and we never became more than casual acquaintances. I saw more of the Hog twins. Bethany in particular. She would spend time in meditation at the Chantry, and she seemed to like my stories. The other one, the young man, he was a little surly. I did encounter the champion again later in Kirkwall. Those were terrible times.
Was this when the Chantry was destroyed?
No, that happened later. But even then, the news coming out of Kirkwall was disheartening. There were some in Val Rayeau who wanted the Divine to declare an exalted march on Kirkwall. Justina sent me there to see if that could be avoided, to gather evidence to calm those agitating for war. I guess it didn't matter in the end.
We can continue this conversation later.
You know where I am.
Okay. Well, many characters in this game value the Chantry a lot. And that's why Luz will like it, I think. That's not the usual position of BioWare in games, in these games.
Are we going to have
Cassandra Colin... Leliana is the one that strays farthest away from the human characters. Obviously the elves don't give a shit. What? What, TMP? What letters are you talking about?
The chosen of Andraste, a blessed hero sent to save us all.
Am I riding in on a shining steed?
I would have suggested a griffon, but sadly they're extinct. Joke as you will, posturing is necessary. I've journeyed deep into the Fade in ancient ruins and battlefields to see the dreams of lost civilizations. I've watched as hosts of spirits clash to reenact the bloody past in ancient wars both famous and forgotten. Every great war has its heroes. I'm just curious what kind you'll be.
What do you mean, ruins and battlefields?
Any building strong enough to withstand the rigors of time has a history. Every battlefield is steeped in death. Both attract spirits. They press against the veil, weakening the barrier between our worlds. When I dream in such places, I go deep into the Fade. I can find memories no other living being has ever seen.
I didn't know, but you can use these options on the right with questions on the left. He asked me what kind of hero I wanted to be, and the answers were on this side. But when I asked him out what he did, I lost those options. Holy shit.
You fall asleep in the middle of ancient ruins. Isn't that dangerous?
I do set wards. And if you leave food out for the giant spiders, They are usually content to live and let live.
I've never heard of anyone going so far into the Fade. That's extraordinary.
Thank you. It's not a common field of study for obvious reasons. Not so flashy as throwing fire or lightning. The thrill of finding remnants of a 1,000-year-old dream? I would not trade it for anything. I will stay there. At least until the breach has been closed.
Was that in doubt?
I am an apostate mage surrounded by Chantry forces, and unlike you, I do not have a divine mark protecting me. Cassandra has been accommodating, but you understand my caution.
You came here to help, Solas. I won't let them use that against you.
How would you stop them?
However I had to.
Thank you. But now let us hope either the mages or the Templars have the power to seal the breach.
I don't even know where my warden is, MP. He went with Morgan through the looking glass. Who knows where the hell they end up.
Closing the breach is our primary goal. But I hope we might also discover what was used to create it. Any artifact of such power is dangerous. The destruction of the Conclave proves that much.
You don't think whatever created the explosion was destroyed in the blast?
You survived, did you not? The artifact that created the breach is unlike anything seen in this age. I will not believe it destroyed until I see the shattered fragments with my own eyes.
We would do well to try to recover whatever created the breach.
Leliana's people have scoured the area near the blast and found nothing. Whatever the artifact was, it is no longer there. In any case, did you need me for anything?
I'd be interested in hearing your opinions on elven culture.
I thought you would be more interested in sharing your opinions of elven culture. You are Dalish, are you not?
Yes, I am. The Dalish are the best hope for preserving the culture of our people.
Our people. You use that phrase so casually. It should mean more. But the Dalish have forgotten that, among other things.
Oh, but you know the truth, right?
While they pass on stories, mangling details, I walk the Fade. I have seen things they have not.
The Dalish are trying to restore elven history. If you know something new, share it.
Would your clan listen to what I had learned in my studies? My travels? Or would they mock the Flavius and his stories and go back to their ruins? At least you are asking. But here's something. I will answer as I can.
I'd like to know more about the elves from before our time.
The Dalish strive to remember Halam Sharal. But Halam Sharal was merely a fumbling attempt to recreate a forgotten land.
Arlathan.
Elvanan was the empire, and Arlathan its greatest city. A place of magic and beauty, lost to time.
You've studied ancient elves. What else do you know of Arlathan?
We hear stories of them living in trees, and imagine wooden ramps or Dalish aeravels. Imagine instead spires of crystal twining through the branches, palaces floating among the clouds. Imagine beings who lived forever, for whom magic was as natural as breathing. That is what was lost.
Is the magic they teach in the Circle different from the magic I learned with my people?
No and yes. Magic is magic, just as water is water, but it can be used in different ways. Dalish magic is more practical, not needing Chantry approval, although they still frown on blood magic. Superstition. Much of it is more subtle. A legacy from when elves were immortal.
The legends of elven immortality. Did they use magic to increase their lifespan?
No. It was simply part of being elven. The subtle beauty of their magic was the effect, not the cause of their nature. Some spells took years to cast. Echoes would linger for centuries, harmonizing with new magic in an unending symphony. It must have been beautiful.
You said that the censure against blood magic was a superstition.
I did. It's fortunate Cassandra is not within earshot. Most modern cultures forbid blood magic. Publicly, even Devinter disapproves of it. But as I said, magic is magic. It matters only in how it is used.
I'd be interested in learning more about blood magic.
I would teach you if I knew it. Unfortunately, using blood magic seems to make it more difficult to enter the Fade. You understand why I never bothered to learn it. A shame, as it is extremely powerful, provided it remains a tool, not a crutch, nor a passion.
What can you tell me about elves living in human cities?
The culture in alienages or among the slaves of Levinter is like any of the impoverished and powerless. They cling to memories of a better past, and practice a few rituals to distinguish themselves from humans.
Are all Dalish elves like my clan?
No. Your clan was unique in having enough interest in human affairs to send you to spy upon the Divine's meeting. As your clans have been separate for so long, they have all changed, adapting to the lands in which they live. Some are no more than bandits, others trade freely with humans, and some have disappeared entirely into the forests.
We'll talk later.
Goodbye.
Yes, blood magic can be good. I agree with him.
What can I do for you?
It all depends on your point of view. For example, would you say the Warden ritual, which is blood magic, the taint ritual, is good? I would say it is, because it's the only salvation humanity has against the darkspawn. What if a blood mage saves a city, a country? The only problem is that people that use blood magic tend to be selfish, ruthless, or power hungry. But it is a tool. Like any other tool, it can be used for good or ill. Like my knife. It can be used to cut a steak, or it can be used to cut the neck of my enemies. Or my friends. Okay, let's continue.
What do you know about the Fade?
A great deal from my wanderings. There are few hard facts, but I can share what I have learned.
I'd like to know more about the breach.
Simply put, it is a tear in the veil between this world and the Fade, allowing spirits to enter the world physically. Small tears occur naturally when magic weakens the veil, or when spirits cluster at an area that has seen many deaths. But your mark allows you to exert some control over the breach. That means it was created deliberately.
I'd like to know more about the veil.
Circle mages call it a barrier between this world and the Fade, but according to my studies in ancient elven lore, that is a vast oversimplification. Without it, imagine if spirits entered freely. The Fade was not a place one went, but a state of nature like the wind.
What? That doesn't make any sense. If the Fate was not a place one went, but a state of nature like the wind. Okay. That sounds strange, honestly.
I don't know if I can imagine that.
Try. Imagine if spirits were not a rarity, but a part of our natural world. Like a fast-flowing river. Yes, it can drown careless children, but it can also carry a merchant's goods or grind a miller's flour. That is what the world could be if the veil were not present. For better or worse.
Well, he seems a little bit too passionate about that subject. Which is good.
I'd like to know more about demons.
Your Dalish say the demons hate the natural world, seek to bring their chaos and destruction to the living. But such simplistic labels misconstrue their motivations, and in so doing, do all a great disservice. Spirits wish to join the living, and a demon is that wish gone wrong.
Is there a way to coexist? To live with them? If not in peace, at least without such active confrontation.
Not in the world we know today. The veil creates a barrier that makes true understanding most unlikely. But the question is a good one, and it matters that you thought to ask.
Yeah, O'Neill, this guy's more...
We'll talk later.
Goodbye.
Like a professor type. I'm going to read that codex because I didn't have that conversation with him before. I'm sure I didn't. What did I miss? Must be in magic. Okay. Yeah, let's read on this. When I first summoned her, she was a rose, unwithering, unchanging, and unthorned. A spirit of the purest love, one knows, who never hated, coveted, or scorned. A second time I drew her across the veil, and shared a walk and dance, a stolen kiss, with such a perfect beauty, pure and pale, no woman could compare, no man resist. Then in my weakness I essayed a third, though magisters their warning did impart. She broke my binding with a single word, and said this smiling as she clutched my heart. For love I was, your passion-changing fire has forged this spirit into cruel desire. The Lord, a chant for dreamers by Magister Horatius. Okay. So they are saying that all demons are corrupted spirits. Corrupted by humans.
I'd like to know more about you, Solas.
Or...
You're an apostate, yet you risked your freedom to help the Inquisition.
Not the wisest course of action when framed that way.
I appreciate the work you're doing, Solas. I just wanted to know more about you.
I'm sorry. With so much fear in the air. What would you know of me?
What made you start studying the Fade?
I grew up in a village to the north. There was little to interest a young man, especially one gifted with magic. But as I slept, spirits of the Fade showed me glimpses of wonders I had never imagined. I treasured my dreams. Being awake, out of the Fade, became troublesome.
Did spirits try to tempt you?
No more than a brightly colored fruit is deliberately tempting you to eat it. I learned how to defend myself from more aggressive spirits, and how to interact safely with the rest. I learned how to control my dreams with full consciousness. There was so much I wanted to explore.
This guy is like Fenrir. Yeah. I don't remember what type of mage that is.
I gather you didn't spend your entire life dreaming.
No. Eventually, I was unable to find new areas in the Fade.
Why?
Two reasons. First, the Fade reflects the world around it. Unless I traveled, I would never find anything new. Second, the Fade reflects and is limited by our imaginations. To find interesting areas, one must be interesting.
Is this why you joined the Inquisition?
I joined the Inquisition because we were all in terrible danger. If our enemies destroyed the world, I would have nowhere to lay my head while dreaming of the Fade.
I wish you luck.
Thank you. In truth, I've enjoyed experiencing more of life to find more of the fade.
How so?
You train your will to control magic and withstand possession. Your indomitable focus is an enjoyable sight then. You have chosen a path whose steps you do not dislike because it leads to a destination you enjoy. As have I.
What? My side benefits? What? What the hell is that? Like, I'm not going with that option. You mean, O'Neill, that he's an equitarian? I would say he's more like an isolationist. But he is definitely an apostate. He doesn't believe in the chantry or its rules on mages. An apostate isolationist, I would say he is.
You said you traveled to many different places.
This world, or its memory, is reflected in the fade. Dream in ancient ruins, you may see a city lost to history. Some of my fondest memories were found in crumbling cities, long picked dry by treasure seekers, the best of the battlefields. Spirits press so tightly on the veil that you can slip across with but a thought.
Any place in particular?
I dreamt at Ostagar.
Huh?
I witnessed the brutality of the Darkspawn and the valor of the Ferelden warriors. I saw Alistair and the hero Ferelden light the signal fire, and Logain's infamous betrayal of Caelan's forces.
I've heard the stories. It would be interesting to hear what it was really like.
That's just it. In the Fade, I see reflections created by spirits who react to the emotions of the warriors. One moment, I see heroic wardens lighting the fire, and a power-mad villain sneering as he lets King Caelan fall. The next, I see an army overwhelmed and a veteran commander refusing to let more soldiers die in a lost cause.
And you can't tell which is real?
It is the Fade. They are all real.
Then how the hell is he so confident that whatever he has seen of the past of the elves is actually true? This guy has an agenda. We shall see if we can uncover it.
Have you always traveled and studied alone?
Not at all. I have built many lasting friendships. Spirits of wisdom, possessed of ancient knowledge, happy to share what they had seen. Spirits of purpose helped me search. Even wisps, curious and playful, would point out treasures I might have missed.
I don't know of any spirits by those names.
They rarely seek this world. When they do, their natures do not often survive exposure to the people they encounter. Wisdom and purpose are too easily twisted to pride and desire.
You're saying that you became friends with Pride and Desire demons?
They were not demons for me.
Meaning?
The Fade reflects the minds of the living. If you expect a spirit of wisdom to be a pride demon, it will adapt. And if your mind is free of corrupting influences, if you understand the nature of the spirit, they can be fast friends.
Yeah, I agree. He's trying to play us for a fool. We shall see how we handle this guy. He hates the Dalish. He hates the world, really. He wants to create a new reality. One where his fondness for the Fade is realized at every second of every day, where you merge the world of the spirits and that of the material beings. Do we want that? I don't know. Could that be a good outcome? I will have to think of it on it to see if I can find any objections to that plan.
You trust these spirits not to possess you the first time you accidentally make a wish?
May you trust your friends not to turn on you?
Well, yes, but they're people.
Ah, of course.
You know what I mean.
Are people only people because they are flesh and blood? Is Cassandra defined by her cheekbones and not her face? Varric by his chest hair and not his wit?
Yes. What would the Dalish believe? Spirits are people. I would say yes, the Dalish would believe this. Because the gods are spirits. All the gods are spirits, and what else? I do believe from Dragon Age 1, I do believe they think the spirits have free will. Let me... Yeah, analogies are not great, but they can illustrate a point, and his point is correct. That the soul is what defines someone, you could say, not the vessel. And I try to remember. Yeah, Dalish would, for example, have encountered the crazy demon, the acorn tree in the Brazilian forest. What else? Someone like the lady of the forest also. That's definitely a spirit with free will. Yeah, I would have to say that yes.
I hadn't thought about it that way, but I see your point.
Thank you. Few are willing to entertain such a notion.
We'll talk later.
Goodbye.
Yeah, I think a religion that is animistic in nature would definitely say that spirits are people. Just like, to some extent, you would say that the devil is a person, or angels or whatever. They are not bound by he's appeared again, by the will of the deity. They can and choose whatever they want
Come
to
to
do.
me, child, and I shall embrace you.
Okay,
In my arms lies
so only one thing remains before I leave this place, but that will be for another time. All that's left is buying stuff here. Six magic. That's definitely better. So let's get one of these. Without Cassandra. Honestly, I don't use I won't use the shield that much. Although if I don't use the shield, then what's the point of having a shield? I have to think on that. might make Cassandra a dual wielder then. Because if I never block, then how I'm going to use the shield? Okay, but I will leave this for next time because it is going to take a long while to sort out. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope I'll see you tomorrow when we shall continue and finally leave Haven for the hinterlands. Until then, long live Arlathan. Goodbye.